Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you off this coin that I featured in a recent video about a coin from the country of Saborga. That recent video was a teaser video. I'd recently purchased a bulk lot of coins off of eBay, £4 worth, and there were a few gems in that video and of coins that I found just with my first pass going through it. And this one was my personal favorite. So, what is Saborga? Well, it is the Principality, or as they say in Italian, the Principe of Seborga. This is what I guess you would call it a micronation that is contained within the borders of Italy. A micronation here would be anything that where a small group of citizens get together and decide that their area is its own country, although the actual country that most people would say they're located in does not agree to it. So in this case, the 360 so people that live in this city on top of a small mountain in Italy would say that they are their own principality, but they are not officially recognized by the country of Italy. And for that matter, they're probably not recognized by any other country in the world. But they say their own country, they're not hurting anybody, so for now, Italy lets them be. Now, the Saborga was started by the person who is pictured in the coin right here, Giorgio I, and now that I read it closer, he is actually going by the name Prince of Seborga. And I believe he founded Saborga sometime in the 1960s, and he said that according to all the legal documents he found, the land there was never officially acquired by Italy, and thus they're not part of Italy. Let's flip it over. And this is where it says the Principality of Seborga. The value of this coin is, mezzo means half, and that is a very fancy L. Their currency is called the Luigino. Saborga actually pegs their currency to the US dollar, and they say that one Luigino is worth, let me rephrase that, one US dollar is worth 6 US dollars. So one Luigino is worth 6 US dollars. So that would make this half, or mezzo Luigino, worth $3, and so I guess they just purchased up a bunch of U.S. currency and based their currency on that. And so on this side we see, I guess, some kind of historic building or storefront from Saborga. But the people there really do spend these coins. So I suppose that the reason I have it is some person went there and picked some up as souvenirs and brought them home. These have a foreign exchange book value. I don't find them in any of my foreign exchange books. However, I did find it on ucoin.net, where Saborga has its own page as its own country, and they list this one as, even though it's only the half Luigino, it's probably has one of the higher values because it is bimetallic. Now, one thing that I do find odd is this one looks like it's made out of copper with almost a pewter in the middle. But the ones that I've seen online, the outer ring has more of a brass look. This one was minted in 1995. Maybe there's a batch that they ran out of one metal and used another one, or this came in a lot with several clean coins, so I hope this isn't cleaned, and hope that's not the reason why it is a different color. But while the people who live in Saborga actually spend these as their own currency, I'm sure a lot of people come by, keep them as souvenirs, and you could even probably book a trip there and buy some of these and while you're there, and then sell them on eBay and pay for your trip. The last one I saw on eBay of this sold for $30, which is about what I paid for the entire 4-pound lot of bulk coins. So there's value in this. And so it's certainly interesting to add to a collection. And I spent about 10 minutes looking up on this area. So apparently Giorgio I essentially named himself Prince for life when he created the country, and I think he lived through. He ruled there for about, I don't know, 30 or 40 years, and then after that they've since had elections to elect a new prince of Saborga. One of the things I do in my foreign coin collection is try to figure out how many different countries I can get a coin from. And I remember when I started off about 20 years ago, there was a dealer that told me the first 100 are pretty easy to come up with, because if you just sat down and thought about it, most people could probably name 100 countries. And if you really wrote it down or looked it up, there's a little over 200 to about 215 countries that actually exist in the world right now. And so I guess there's some debate. Should I include Saborga in my list of countries that I personally have coins from in my collection? And this would make country number 262. And of course, it took me a while to get to that number. That's not all that easy to get to, but I'm going to say yes, this should count, because the people who live there actually spend these. And so you can, if you have this coin, you can walk into a store in Saborga and actually exchange it for goods and services. So I would say this does count. And there are other countries that are not officially recognized that I have in my collection. One of them would be Transnistria, which is technically part of Moldova, but it's more than just a micronation. It's an actual sizable piece of land, and the people of Moldova don't officially recognize them. But I think worldwide there'd be plenty of people that say that's a legitimate country. And so if you're looking to build up a list, like I said, the first 100 are easy to come up with. There are plenty of countries that do not make their own coins, but there are some regions of the world that belong to other countries that have their unique currency, such as several British dependencies, I guess you'd call them, different islands, like Gibraltar has their own coins, although that's technically part of Britain. Other countries other islands like Guernsey or Jersey, Isle of Man, each of those have their own coins. There are former countries that have broken apart and formed new countries, like when growing up in the 80s, we knew of Czechoslovakia. Well, now that is two different countries, the Czechia and Slovakia. Or here in North America, we have right now we have Canada, but in the past, Newfoundland was its own country. Prince Edward Island was its own country, and I have a penny from there, even though that country dissolved became part of Canada 150 years ago. So if you're looking for to make a collection of how many different countries you can put together, start with the easiest countries to find, and then you're going to end up looking for countries that no longer exist. Like when you look throughout Europe, there are a lot of countries that were small little parts of what used to be the Holy Roman Empire that were their own little tiny countries that all formed together to make places like Germany or Italy that had their own countries. So I've picked up about 15 former countries that are now part of Germany, like Saarland or Nassau. I recently picked up a coin from Sardinia, which is now part of Italy. And so there's almost an endless supply of different coins that you can come up with. There are other countries that aren't really countries, such as here in the United States, several different indigenous societies created their own coins, but only as souvenirs. So that would be things like the Sioux Nation would have manufactured their own coins, or they probably had other people do it for them, because there are probably 15 different groups of Native Americans that release their own commemorative coins, but you can't actually spend them anywhere. And I've thought if I were to acquire one of those, and you can buy sets for about $15 each, that should I add that to my collection? And I've kind of said no, because they're manufactured purely for souvenirs. So that's just one of those things I consider when I get a new country. And just last week I got my first coin from Zaire. So there are several African countries that are hard to get coins from. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.